Well, next to you live from Paris, Turkish people could have the right to visa-free travel across Europe under new proposals. The European Commission has backed the plan, but only after Ankara apparently threatened to tear up the new EU-Turkey migrant exchange agreement that was signed just in March. The visa-free deal announced this Wednesday is part of a package that includes financial penalties for EU states that refuse to take their quota of refugees. So a number of measures, but that headline one, visa-free travel for Turkish citizens across the EU. For more on this, we're joined by the French MEP Constance Le Grip here in the studio. Constance, thank you very much for being with us. What is your opinion about this idea about giving Turkish citizens the right to travel visa-free across Europe?
I'm absolutely against, like all MEPs from my political party here in France, Les Républicains. First, there are rules. And the rules are very clear, very precise concerning visa waiver for citizens wanting to come to this Schengen area. The rules has very precisely set up that criteria, very precise criteria, conditions should be met. 72 criteria. For the moment, the Turkish authorities don't fulfill all the criteria. They don't fulfill all the criteria. Even Vice President Franz Timmermans said it. And for instance, the different criteria that the Turkish government doesn't fulfill yet is, excuse me, but these are not technical or small problems, small questions. The fight against corruption, the fight against terrorism, data protection, more coordination and cooperation with Europol, for instance. So the rules are not correctly applied, and there is absolutely no reason for the European Union to change the rules and to have some kind of privilege, some kind of facilitation for the Turkish authorities.
I'll add to that list freedom of the press as well, another big issue regarding
Absolutely.
EU and Europe. Can I put
the
something
moment is not the right moment.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Can I put something on the other side of the argument to play devil's advocate here? The deal has been done between the EU and Europe on migrants, the exchange idea, legitimate migrants for non-legitimate migrants. Isn't Turkey owed something in exchange? And isn't this justifiably that?
Yeah, the agreement, which was concluded in March, wasn't a good agreement. I don't want to say that we don't have to build a very constructive and positive and realistic and responsible relation with Turkey. Of course, we all know that Turkey is a partner, a very important partner in this period of our world. And in for instance, the regulation of migrants' flows. But the deal that was made was a very big mistake, was not a big success, because, you know, the link between migration, the regulation of migration, and the question of the visa was a very bad idea. So, of course, we need to have a very frank and maybe also a positive and pragmatic dialogue with the Turkish authorities, even if it is very difficult to deal with such a government, because, you know, freedom of press, civil rights, the question of the rights of the opposition's parties are really very, very concerning.
So in a sense, the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is holding the EU to ransom, isn't he? Because obviously they threatened to tear up this agreement if Brussels didn't give this visa-free access.
This is blackmail, and we're falling into the trap. We, as European Union, we're falling into the Turkish trap. We said it in March, and even before, you know, my party and other members of the European Parliament.
But the whole problem can't be resolved without Turkey, can it?
No, that's what I said. We know we need Turkey, but we also need to win the battle against human traffickers. We also urgently need political stability in Syria, in Libya. We also need to try to be a little bit more successful in the control of our EU external borders. So the situation is very complex, of course, and it's very difficult. And we need partners. We need strong and reasonable and responsible partners, of course, in this fight against human traffickers, in the fight against all these dangers, and also in the fight against ISIS. And of course, Turkey is one of the partners.
Indeed, Turkey is the frontline state in that fight, as you're saying. But it sounds like you're saying you don't feel that Turkey or Erdogan are responsible.
No. I think they're blackmailing us. They're dealing in a very ambiguous way vis-à-vis the European Union countries, but also in their relations with ISIS, for instance. The human traffickers are most of them are having their very dirty business on the Turkish territory, and all these questions aren't said, aren't dealt, and aren't put in the conversation that we have with the Turkish authorities.
Indeed,
we are afraid.
These allegations you bring up, they've been spinning around for quite some time. Certainly the one about ISIS, the one about the traffickers,
Yes.
I mean, clearly. And again, concerned these have never been addressed.
Not officially by the head of states and government. I don't think that they have been officially handled by the head of states and government, because if they would have, that would have signed this very bad agreement in March. And really making the link between the visa exemption and the migration policy is and was a big mistake. So we will vote against this visa exemption when it will come to the European Parliament, and we will strongly fight in order to convince other members of the European Parliament to refuse this blackmail, this Turkish blackmail.